The financials of any business is a scorecard of what's happening in the company. And so when you think about from a financial perspective, we will always consider financials to be incredibly important. What we recognized is when we focus so heavily on financials and having super clean data, that's really, really important. It's important to a certain subset of our customer base or our potential customer base who are ready for that. What we've recognized over the last 4 years of working with really over 400 integrators is that depending on where they are in the growth curve, we have to have a right-sized solution for them. And the one solution that had been built for so many years is fantastic for 20% maybe of the integrators out there. We had this huge gap of service where we wanted to help other folks, but they weren't there quite yet in their journey. Eventually, they will get to that point where they want to have perfect data, perfect financials. They weren't there yet. We needed to solve some other constraints before we got there. But no matter what, we're still and we will always be advocates for using data to drive decisions in the organization. And so ultimately, what we have done is we've evolved to the point where we recognize different data points throughout the organization to tell us what are the constraints that we need to attack first. And we really look at it from three different perspectives. We have sales, people or team, and operations. And there's a bunch of other stuff that goes inside of that we can talk about later. But what we'll do is we will diagnose, much when you go to the doctor, asks a bunch of questions. We have systems and tools that help us to diagnose what we call the biggest constraint or the greatest constraint. And then we determine what the right next thing is for that organization. Sometimes it's going to be sales, sometimes it's going to be team, and there's a bunch of different components around that.